Okay, now we are going to transition to graphing quadratics. Okay, graphing quadratics. So we already talked about quadratics are in this form: y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. And as I mentioned, it has to have an x squared. It has to have an x squared in it. It doesn't have to have a bx or a c. So as long as that has x squared, it's going to be a quadratic formula. Okay, it's going to be a parabola. So here's the steps for graphing a quadratic. The first thing you need to do is find the axis of symmetry. Okay? To find the axis of symmetry, if you have it in this order, okay, if you have the equation written in this order that I drew the green arrow, you're going to find it by doing x equals, and the axis of symmetry is negative b over 2a. Okay, negative b over 2 times a. So you're going to first find that x coordinate. Okay, you're going to find that x coordinate for the axis of symmetry. Once you find it, you're going to plug x back into the equation, the original equation, to get your y. Okay, once you do that, you'll have your vertex. You'll have your x and your y coordinate. It's important to note, number 3, you can figure out if your vertex is a minimum or a maximum. If a is positive, if a is a positive number, the equation will cause the parabola to open up. If a is a negative number, it will cause it to open down. And that will determine if it's a maximum or a minimum. If it opens up, if it's positive, okay, it ends up being a minimum. If it opens down, then your vertex ends up being a maximum. Okay, let's go ahead and graph a quadratic equation or a parabola. So here's the steps to do it. First thing we're going to find is the vertex. And the vertex is the middle point. So notice how I have 5 points going up and down. The vertex will be the middle point. So if you remember, what we ended up doing, okay, to find this vertex, is we ended up using the formula x equals negative b over 2a. Okay? So in this case, if I use the formula, your b is the number in front of x, okay? Negative 4 is in front of x, so negative b would be positive 4. Okay? A is the number in front of x squared. Since there's an x squared there, okay, but no number in front of it, we assume that a is 1. So 2 times 1 is 2. So x equals 4 divided by 2, which is 2. So that is your x coordinate of your vertex. Okay, and you'll want to find that each time. Okay, that's your x coordinate. Okay, to get that. To find our y coordinate of the vertex, okay, we take our original equation, which is right here. And all we're going to do is fill in 2 for x. Okay, we already know the x coordinate is 2. So I'm just going to fill in 2 for x. Okay, just like that, I can type it straight in my calculator. When you fill in 2 for x, I end up getting 4 minus 8, which is negative 4. Negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. Okay, you end up finding out that your y coordinate that goes with it is negative 2. Okay, so that's my vertex. So if I want, I can go ahead and plot that point. Okay, again, we know that is the vertex. So 2, negative 2, somewhere around here. Okay, I'll go ahead and put a point there. And what I'll do after it is I'll go ahead and find some other coordinates. So I'm going to go in order. So the x coordinates that are smaller, if I go in order, are 0 and 1. And the x coordinates that are bigger are 3 and 4. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and count by whole numbers and go in order. And then I'm simply going to fill those in to the original equation up here. Okay, just like I did to find the vertex. So when you fill in 0, you get 2. Okay, when you fill in 1, I believe you get negative 1. When you fill in 3, you get negative 1. And when you fill in 4, you get 2. Okay, notice how those repeat. Okay, that happens because a parabola makes a u. So they're going to end up repeating. So once I have those points, I'll go ahead and graph those as well and plot them. So 0, 2, 1, negative 1, 3, negative 1, and 4, 2. And go and plot those. I know my drawing's a little bit off. Yeah, but your parabola should look something like that. Okay? And so I'm going to go ahead and label my vertex. I'll go ahead and draw my axis of symmetry, which is x equals 2. And then it's kind of hard to see. One thing I do know my y-intercept. Okay, is 0, 2. Okay, you always have a y-intercept where x is 0. And then your x-intercepts, it's kind of hard to tell. We know they're right here and here, okay, based on my graph, but I don't know exactly what they are. Okay, but if you had a graph where you could definitively tell, you would want to put those down too.